On today's show, the first dance and the parent dances. Should they or should they not be 2 minutes and under? We also welcome in friend and fellow DJ, Jeff, who's going to help us break open that whiskey and wine. And the Cocktail Hour podcast goes live on location. Cocktail Hour episode 3 starts right now. Good evening. Welcome inside the undisclosed location from somewhere in the Pine Barrens of Lancaster, PA. My name is Phil Rossi. Across the pond, it is my man, Howie D. What's up, Howie?
Phil.
How are you?
Episode 3.
Yeah, you look good. I didn't think we'd make it this far.
Neither did I.
We have to welcome in Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hey. It's Lancaster, not Lancaster.
Oh, I said Lancaster.
I heard Lancaster.
I heard Lancaster too. I didn't want to correct you. I was like, but thanks, Jeff.
It's the New Jersey in him.
Yeah. It's all right, though. What are you drinking?
I am drinking red wine.
So somebody brought this to our attention.
Yes.
Cocktail hour. Why not have drinks?
Yes.
So
Jeff's
drinking.
Jeff's been chomping at the bit to drink.
He's been waiting to crack this bottle of bourbon.
Very expensive bottle.
Jeff, what are you drinking?
Thanks. Thanks.
That's
presented to me by Howie D. He spared no expense with the Evan Williams 1783 edition small batch. Expertly crafted in Kentucky's first distillery. So, yeah, it had to cost him a pretty penny.
It's not bad. And
Before you criticize the bourbon, taste it, then criticize. Come on.
Is it like Jack Daniels?
No.
How is it?
You joking?
It's fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
As 1783 Evan Williams small batches go, it's the best I've ever had.
I'll be honest with you. I do not drink, so I'm not a connoisseur on the bourbon and then the different types of alcohol. So I asked Phil, I said, what does Jeff like to drink? I want to get him something for the show. He's like, whiskey. That's it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went there and I was like, this bottle looks cool. So I actually just looked at the bottle, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea what I bought.
Well, listen, for me, I'm not a whiskey connoisseur. So, you know, when I go into the whiskey store or the liquor store looking for a bottle of whiskey, I go straight for the most expensive ones, and then I find out they're $200, and I just buy a bottle of Jack Daniels. So I'm right on there.
But isn't it thought that counts?
It is. What I have, Spice Red Wine by Cooper's Hawk Winery. Jeff had some of this. Jeff, what'd you think?
I think it was very spicy, and it tastes a little bit like mead. We had a little conversation about mead.
Yeah, it's very good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to get into today, first dance, parent dances at wedding. What do you guys think? 2 minutes and under? Should that be the duration of the song? Does it depend on the song? Does it depend on the couple? Let's kind of talk about it.
First, I think the first dance should be the discretion of the bride or groom. I feel it's their first dance. That can go a little bit longer. Parent dances, I always recommend second chorus, which is roughly around the 2-minute mark. But then you have the couples that don't want to be in the spotlight, and they're like minute and a half. They want to get in and out. So I usually use it to the discretion of the couple. First dance, I feel, should be longer. That's the first time. It's your first dance. Husband and wife. Just take that moment in. What's 3.5 minutes? But that's me. Jeff, your thoughts?
So typically when I talk to couples, I always break it down to them in what do you want it to look like? So your first dance, yeah, it's a really emotional moment, but some couples don't like, and especially like 2023 couples, they don't like all the attention on them. And really, you know, COVID has had a lot to do on that with us. We're all kind of antisocial now. So there are couples that just don't want the attention on them, but they still want to have a wedding. So I've never had a couple go as low as one chorus of a song. Right. Typically, if they want to break it down, I always tell them, just think of it in threes. So you have one song typically has 3 choruses.
Right.
If you want it super short, you go to your first chorus. It's about a minute and a half.
Correct.
You want it shortened, go to your second chorus. It's about 2.5 minutes. If you want to go to your third chorus, you might as well just play the entire song because the song is usually about 3.5 minutes. So I'd say for a couple that doesn't want the limelight on them, one chorus is just too short. You know, your guests are going to be expecting to see you out there dancing for at least a minute. So I'd say do your 2.5 minutes if you want to shorten it.
Speaking of which, so like, you know, you mentioned earlier the choreographed dances. I always recommend if you're going to do it, especially typically it's the bride and their father, right? I say do it last because you don't want to one up your groom. So do it last if you're going to do it. And again, that depending again, because you said the time. So if they're going to do a full 3.5 minutes, I feel in that situation, the son mother dance should still be again their discretion. You don't have to go 3.5 minutes.
I think the other thing you should do too, you should let the DJ know, like give the DJ a timestamp, because some couples would be like, oh, we're kind of thinking 2 minutes, but then you don't really know exactly when it's going to end, and they'll be like, oh, we'll wink at you, or we'll give you like a head nod or something, and when you're actually in the moment, if you're in that moment with your daughter or your son, you might. We might pick up on that and be like, oh, is that a head nod? And then kind of fade it out, and that might make it a little awkward. So just let the DJ know, like, start it at, a minute 10, and then timestamp it out to, 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Well, that's typically why I always talk about the chorus, is just because, if we're doing that wink, what if it's in the middle of a verse? Like in the middle of a really heartfelt verse, and they give you that wink, and we're just going to cut the song in the middle of the words of the artist.
Doesn't sound right.
Doesn't make any sense. That's why the second chorus is usually the best, because there's almost always a bridge after it. So it's just an instrumental bridge. And then you can fade out right there, and it's beautiful. It almost seems like the song was shortened just for your dance.
And what do you think about front-loading the first dance, the parent dances, and the formalities early in the night to party later?
I am so glad you asked that,
Yeah.
because I was going to ask you guys that. So I found that there are vendors, and this is nothing against, everybody has their own idea of how things should work. I find that there are vendors that say parent dances kick off the party, but any DJ knows that dinner is such an important part of getting people ready to dance. So you want them, you want to get them kind of moving in their seat. You want to get them like singing along a little bit.
Howie's giddy about this.
Yeah, he's happy because he knows he told me about it, and that's how I started doing it. That's why he's smiling, because he knows that it's something.
But it's the truth.
It's absolutely the truth. Like, if I play a song and people start singing to it, I'm like, I've got them. And I can play another song that they do that to. And then I can play another one. And then to the point where the dance floor could just open organically.
Right, exactly.
And then imagine you have something at the end of dinner. People are out there dancing, and you're like, all right, everybody, stop what you're doing. Sit back down, because we have a really emotional dance that we need to do.
100%.
So it doesn't kick off dancing. It almost does the opposite effect.
Right. What I tell them, too, is most people have nerves. So why procrastinate and let them wait throughout the night to get that dance? Get it over with. That way they can enjoy the party.
Yes.
Because so many people are going to be thinking about it, especially the speeches. Not that we're going to get into that now, but, the dances and all, it's like they're going through courses now. More than likely they're not going to drink because they don't want to drink, because they feel like if they start drinking, then it might be an awkward situation if they put too much on. So I feel get it out of the way, let everybody enjoy the party.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and live mixing dinner is super important too.
Mm-hmm.
Not just putting a playlist on and letting it go, because we talk about this all the time. You can't just put a playlist on, leave for an hour, go have dinner and relax, and then come back and be like, okay, like now we're ready to party.
You can, but you won't be effective.
Exactly.
Like Jeff mentioned, I did, and I try to explain this to everybody, even clients. I feel like, and don't take this the wrong way, dinner is foreplay. I'm setting the tone. I am. I'm setting the tone. Foreplay.
Foreplay for what?
For the party. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. I've only used foreplay in another sense. I don't know what you're referring to. Could you elaborate, please, for the listeners?
So foreplay. I'm just kidding. They can use their imagination.
Mommy and daddy love each other very much.
So we're building the momentum. So I call it foreplay because, as Jeff referred to, foreplay.
Better than 3-play.
Yeah.
Is it?
Smooth. Foreplay.
All right, Howie, go ahead.
So what it is you're setting the mood for what's going to happen afterwards, and that's it's building momentum, and that's what I'm a firm believer on, because you're setting the tone. The guests are getting excited.
And how many times have we had, like, you play songs where it's like sing-alongs, and you can also gauge the vibe of the crowd you have by the dinner music you play.
I
You're
have
like,
a
this
song.
is working. I know this will really work.
I have a song that I play during dinner, and I say to whoever I'm with, watch, this will tell you how this crowd is going to respond throughout the night.
It's Sweet Caroline, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But
Did he tell you that too?
I've never played it during dinner, but
it works every time I play. All the tables start singing, so I'm like, all right, this crowd's ready to party, and it's the truth.
Yeah. Can I go back to the timeline of events?
Absolutely.
Because I feel that, like, when I talk to my couples, I try. First thing with a couple is that you want them to feel like you know what the hell you're doing, and they fully trust when you're giving them advice, and you have a good reason behind it. Because, you know, a DJ that says like, or anybody that says to put things in a certain way that doesn't really make sense, there's usually a reason behind it that's not based on what the couple's interest is.
Yeah, that's so true.
If you don't have a good reason that you can easily tell your couple, typically that to me is just like there's a little bit of a red flag. Like, why are you asking me to do it that way?
Now, Jeff, let me ask you this. Should a couple maybe push back or at least question like information that they're getting?
I don't think so, because they're not going to know. Because like you and I, we and all of us, we've probably done what 600-700 weddings between all of us. This is their first time ever getting married. They have no idea
I don't know about Phil, but
what they're signing. Well, 700 together, like all together of all of us.
I do about 2 a year.
Yeah, I mean, like, so they have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
So, you know, you're obviously, you hire a professional, whether it's your caterer that's doing your timeline, if it's your photographer, I've heard of doing timelines, whether it's your DJ, whether it's whoever, like you're inclined that you're paying this person, that they're giving you good information, that they're telling you what you should be. You have no reason to question it.
And everybody, the DJ, the florist, the coordinator always makes the couple fill out a timeline. And I would say like 8, 9 out of 10 times, the coordinator's timeline is the one that kind of holds the most water as far as what the couple goes with.
Yes. And typically, if we do, like during our planning meeting, if we do change it, communicate that to your coordinator. Like, it's one of those things where like DJs and coordinators had this little tiff where, you know, we're struggling over who's in charge. Like, it's not what it's about.
No, we're trying to make it work.
We're trying to make it work for the couple. You got to work together as a team, because when we look good, you look good.
Amen.
Like it's how it should be. So the timeline. So, you know, there's so many things that if I'm talking to a couple, we talk about on the timeline. Front loading it is the absolute 100% best way. I think almost 100% of the time, unless you're at a venue where you can't do your dances during dinner. Like, your dinner's in a separate place from where your reception is, and it would just be awkward to do your dances where there's tables and there's no dance floor. Right. So, you know, when you front load everything, what I tell couples is like, we're here for you specifically. We have no ulterior motives, and I can give you a good reason for every single thing that we do. Why would I want to front load everything? Why would I want to do my parent dances first? Well, because first of all, you're not putting them at the end of dinner. So you don't have something there. So if your photographer wants to pull you and go take photos, you not having something at the end of dinner means I can open the dance floor while you're gone. And I'm not having people stand there twiddle their thumbs while you take 20 extra minutes with your photographer after everybody's done dinner. I can just open the dance floor and we can start having a great night. The other thing with that is, think of your photos. So your parent dances are right away. So everybody's seated. Everybody's looking the right way. The background of your photos are perfect. They're never not going to be perfect. If you do it at the end of dinner, people get up, they walk to the bar, they stand intermingling. Your background now looks messy. So this is us thinking for everyone, just for you.
See, I'm glad you bring this up, because people don't understand there is a rhyme to the reason. They think that, oh, we're just doing this because. And there is, like you said, there's times to be a tough between catering staff and DJs, not us per se, but in generally speaking, because you hear it. And it's really, we're a team. All our job is to make sure that the crowd, the party, the bride and groom have the best time of their life.
Yes.
And we have their best interest at heart, too.
Correct.
Because we're there first before anybody, and we're not leaving until way after the night's over. So we're not going to get stuff done early so we can leave early.
Yeah. Well, here's the biggest thing about, I would like to call this, like, couple-driven, like, being a wedding venue that's more couple-driven, that's client-driven. You're not driven because you're going to go there, you're going to play your set, and then you're going to leave. You're there literally with the couple's interests in mind the entire time. And it shows. Like, people see that, and they can tell. Like, they know you're not full of shit because you're literally doing everything you can. You're explaining everything in a way that they're like, holy shit, like, he really knows what he's talking about.
By the way, this is a PG-13 show, so...
Oh, shit.
Is
there really no cussing?
No,
I'm just kidding.
You can curse.
Oh, fuck me. Anyway, so here's one of my biggest pet peeves about...
Howie likes that. He's good.
Weddings.
He's
Fucking douchebag.
He likes it. It's that foreplay.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep fucking using ridiculous fucking knuckle fuck bad words now.
Wow.
I'll cut this all out.
So,
Where's Wolf?
he's over there. Fucking made me lose my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, so I think that one of the worst things you can do as a wedding vendor. So why are people at their wedding? Like, obviously to get married, but they invited all these people in from all over. So what do they want to do? Why are those people there?
To have fun?
To have fun, to interact with them. Maybe
Yes.
they haven't seen them. Maybe they haven't seen them since COVID. So it's 2019. There's going to be people in 2023 that go to their wedding that they haven't seen since 2019. So they're there to be with their guests. So if you set up a timeline in a way that's like, we're going to do our first dance, and then we're going to serve salads, and then we're going to do 2 speeches, and then we're going to do dinner, and then we're going to do 2 more speeches, and then we're going to do like a clean off, and then we're going to give them 5 more minutes, and then we're going to do parent dances. What that ends up being is me walking up to the bride and groom, tapping them on the shoulder. Hey guys, we got 5 minutes till we have to do the next thing. They finally get to do it. They go sit down, they start to eat. Hey guys, we really got to stick to the timeline. We got to do this next thing. Get back up, go back out. Hey guys, we really got to stick to the timeline. And it's constantly me tapping you on the shoulder, giving you work, and you're not actually doing what you're there to do, which is be with your guests.
Yeah, I mean, all that planning, all that time, all that money, and you just feel like you said, like you're working. Like you just have to get the next task done before we get to the next thing they have to do.
Right. And then it becomes like work. So knock it all out, and then you're free. You have literally nothing else to do unless you want to do something during the reception, like a cake cutting, garter, whatever like that. But that's super easy. Like there's nothing else.
A wisdom from Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah. This is literally like if any of my couples ever watch this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I've heard this before," because I literally go through this with every single couple.
There's couples that will listen to this also that are getting married that may not know this, and a light bulb might click. So that's really the whole.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
Now, speaking of weddings, you actually are a 3 West couple. You and your wife.
Yep.
So when you went through this process, how was it for you guys?
I don't fucking remember. I was a groom. What the hell are you talking about?
So
I didn't do any of this shit.
So your wife Ashley did everything. You just You were the yes guy.
I was a yes guy. She told me that picking music was one of the most stressful pieces of the entire wedding.
You know, Jeff, it reminds me that recently myself and Howie have been in contact with your wife.
Oh, great.
So Howie, it was actually Howie's idea, so I just want to take the pressure off of me. He actually reached out to Ashley and asked her a bunch of questions about you.
Here's the deal. We asked her the question. We want to see if you get the answers right to what she wrote.
It's basically like...
It's like
the Newlywed game.
Oh, yes. But some of them are... Well, actually, some of the questions Phil asked are
So this is a whether or not I should just go straight to the couch when I get home.
Exactly.
Or if I...
You might want to drink some more of this bourbon.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so I'm gonna scope around here and go different ones because some of these are like the shoot game, which I don't really suggest that you do. But all right.
That's a bridal shower game.
Jeff, what is your what do you think Ashley said is your biggest pet peeve?
People that pronounce Reese's.
Howard?
They pronounce them. No, it's Reese's Pieces, and they pronounce them Reese Piecey. And it drives me fucking crazy because it says Reese's Pieces. They're pieces of Reese's. It's not Reese Piecey.
There's no way Ashley said that.
She says, me, haha. I feel like he has a lot, but the biggest is being late. He's 15 minutes early of a guy.
That's true.
She said being late.
Yeah, she's right.
Is she right?
As you can see, it's a really fucking it just tricks the core with me. It really grinds my gears.
You're really pissed.
But if you're I guess if you're talking about like everyday occurrences, being late is definitely annoying to me.
Okay.
That's your biggest pet peeve.
People being late to going plate. Yeah, because it's like one of the most like you just take extra 5 minutes. I'm really showing my age with this one though, but I'll take an extra 5 minutes to make sure you're there on time.
Yeah, it's a very dad thing to say.
So Ashley 1, Jeff
0.
Okay.
All right, so number 19, Howie, just so you can follow along.
Appreciate it.
What was your worst job? What do you think Ashley said your worst job was?
My worst job. I'd say probably Antrim 1844.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
What
That was
what is that?
So previous life, going through high school, I really wanted to be a chef, and I worked in Baltimore at a place called Pazzo. It was a Spanish Italian cuisine fusion place for Foreman Wolf, which is one of the best chefs on the whole East Coast. She trained Duff Goldman, and after that, I decided I wanted to go back to school, and I started working at a place in Tawnytown, Antrim, and it was a French chef, Michael Gettier, and he told me I was wasting my life going back to school to be a teacher, and that I shouldn't do that, and that being a chef was utilizing my life to its full potential, but not being a teacher.
Got it. That's good. That's good. That's good work by Ashley. Okay. The last show you binge watched. Howie, for reference, this is number 17.
Probably BoJack Horseman. That's probably what she would say.
You think so?
I think
So that's your final answer.
I think so.
She put 2. Always Sunny in Philadelphia
Okay, yeah.
and Harry Potter for a movie series.
I didn't know she knew I was watching Always Sunny. I was just trying to think in her mind.
Where are
of
you
what,
watching it? Like on a sneak?
Why
No, I
would you
wasn't
watch
sneaking
it
it.
on a sneak? That's my question.
Harry
Why?
Potter.
I mean, I was watching it right in front of her. I just, I don't know when you send her these questions. She knows I always watch BoJack because, like, I like Will Arnett.
Okay. All right. What was your first job?
It was working on a farm.
She said, your dad's doing the thing, but your first job was at Denny's, and which is actually where you guys met.
Yeah, so if we're talking about my first real job where you get a tax form, it's Denny's. My first job ever was working with my mom's boyfriend on farms, and we would do like out in the middle of the fields, we would be like lifting up straw bales and throwing them up on things. It was the worst freaking work, and anybody that's ever done it knows that work fucking sucks. Like you're out in the 95.
I never pegged you for hailing bay.
Hailing
Or hay. Hailing hay.
baling hay.
Baling
yeah,
hay,
it
yes. Whatever
it
it's
is.
called.
I seriously
I'm
like.
from the city, so I know nothing about hay and horses and farms.
You're talking about something that is, it's something I actually like. I hated that job. I hated it. I was 16 years old. All I wanted to do was stay at home and play video games. I didn't want to work.
So
I didn't have to work.
So Denny's was after that.
Denny's was after
Okay.
that. So this is just like, I really accredit everything that I do to that job because you have to work so hard to make so little in like the farming community and especially the like hay bales. So like, I don't ever want to do that kind of work again. So I always just do my very best at everything I've got.
Did she work at Denny's or was she?
She did work at Denny's.
And
she
you worked at Denny's.
I worked at Denny's.
You-
Yeah,
you-
I was
picked her up at Denny's?
I did pick her up at Denny's.
Did you?
What was it?
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
So I didn't pick
Did you
her up
order
at
a Grand
Denny's.
Slam?
A slam was grand, that's for sure. But I did not order the Grand Slam. It was the moons over my hammy that did it for us. So I was a cook there because I was in that phase of wanting to be a chef
Denny's, huh?
and a manager. It was right down the street from my house.
Nothing
And
is wrong with
listen,
Denny's. Not there's anything wrong
I was
with
in high school. Like my next job was Pazzo, so relax. But she came in as a hostess, and it was just like, hey girl, how you doing? But I actually had a girlfriend at the time, so that didn't actually happen. And it's very strange because she always talks about all the time how she would talk to my girlfriend at the time about how like we were gonna get married and all this kind of crazy stuff. And we talked a little bit. Like she was vegetarian, so she was always like the pain in the ass that came up to the window and was like, hey Jeff, can I have a French toast and hash browns and I don't want any meat because I'm vegetarian, and just one of those annoying vegetarians is tell fucking everybody that they're vegetarian and saving the world.
Well,
So
just lost those on our show.
no, it's all right. Vegetarian, if you're doing it, cool, man. We do vegetarian Wednesdays, and we think it's really making a difference.
All right, Jeff, you cannot get this one wrong. Howie number 14, because you'll never find it. What is the most memorable moment from your wedding?
I mean, for me or for her? Because
This
for her,
This would be
Your most memorable moment. So she knows it because she wrote it.
if we're talking about her most memorable moment, it should be like so. For our wedding, I got her a golden retriever puppy as our wedding present.
And what's the dog's name?
Scotch.
Okay, that's one. That's on there.
That's on there. Okay,
Okay.
good.
See,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was really sneaky about that. Like brought her down. It was at the booking house. And I brought him down. Well, my best man brought him down and like surprised her with him. And she was watching a video of that I like videoed of like our whole process of adopting him and everything. And the end of it was literally me giving Brian, my best man, the dog, and him walking down the stairs. And when he walked down the stairs in the video, he walked into her room. So it was
That's
super
cool.
like
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah. So all the grooms watching this are like, fuck this guy. I'm never gonna fuck.
Then she also wrote cigars and with his guys and dancing.
Yes, definitely the dancing. The dancing was great. The cigars were great. We actually had a moment in the booking house where Matt was our DJ, and he mentions now that like how rambunctious we sounded because right after the ceremony we go upstairs, we all seen each other, we turn on our little jawbone jukebox, and we're all just up there dancing. And underneath, like all you hear is like the thumping and the banging around, and all the people are down there like, holy shit, what the hell's going on up there?
Nice. Okay.
Okay. What is his most embarrassing moment? So this would be your most embarrassing moment. What does Ashley think is your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment.
This one's good.
Is it good? I don't typically get embarrassed. That's the thing. Like I'll just get naked in front of somebody, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we
have
have to talk about that.
Oh, we will. I mean, it's not much to see, but
You're always just like taking your shirt off.
yeah, just take our shirts off and kiss if we have to. But like,
So
Makes
she
Howie
says
nervous.
here he doesn't really get embarrassed easily. He is ripping his pants a few times.
yeah, but it's not embarrassing. I flaunt that shit.
But
I got junk in my trunk, and I'm proud to show it.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the answer she put?
I don't know. Is it like? I mean,
So this is what she thought.
okay.
Your first kiss.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
What was your most embarrassing moment?
yeah. She didn't really kiss me back.
Really?
Yeah, it was super weird. I was just like, so we were saying goodnight, and
Like,
you know,
wait.
I'd only had one girlfriend before her, so like, I thought the time was right. The lips were glistening. The moon
That's
was
your
like, cascading down on her, and like, I fucking heard angels, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna go for this, and I just and went in, and she's like,
So she wasn't.
holy shit, like what the fuck just happened?
So
She didn't
you-
kiss back.
So you just went in like all 100%.
Oh yeah, everything I do, buddy, I'm going in 100%. I'm going in.
Denied.
And, you know,
Denied.
That's all.
Denied.
yeah, tongue deep,
Denied.
buddy.
No. No, he wasn't denied. She was, I think, just in shock.
She was in shock, and
So like after
Hold
like it was
on.
awkward, then did you like
Phil, come
actually?
here.
no, we left.
Can you
and I had to deal with that the whole night.
You're gonna
Shut up, Howie.
Ashley, show me. I want to. No.
That's later. That's cocktail hour after dark.
So I had to
would
go
be
home
too.
and deal with that.
What did you feel like when you went home? Were you just like, oh, I can't believe it? Like you were feeling it, right? Like you were.
I was like, man, this bitch didn't kiss back.
Wow.
No, just kidding.
Wow.
That's
Ashley.
probably because
Definitely on the couch.
No. It was definitely.
We'll just skip it. Go to the next
What's
question.
funny is that I don't even think we talked about it afterward. I think we just kept going.
Back to question 6.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Who is your celebrity crush?
Emma Watson. No, Emma Stone. Sorry, Emma Stone.
She put both.
Okay, good. You can see the internal struggle with that one.
She's
So
like, she says he has a thing for Emmas.
yeah, it's just an Emma thing.
Mm.
Really. I mean, it's Emma thing.
So no brides.
It's kind of like a Rachel McAdams thing.
right?
Yeah, it's an Anna Kendrick thing, but mostly like an Emma Watson, Emma Stone thing. I don't know if any of these people will be watching, so I just want to make sure I say all of them while I have the opportunity to be live on your show.
Yeah, clear it now.
Cara Delevingne, if you're watching, and turn straight.
What is your biggest fear?
Does she answer this?
This is number 7, Howie.
Uh-huh.
Did she answer it?
Uh-huh.
You're a real wordsmith.
It's interesting.
No.
It's not a question I've thought
She
about.
detailed it pretty well, actually.
It's really interesting.
what do
It's
you
not a question I've thought about a lot.
What are you scared of?
And that's the thing is, you know, especially with me and Ashley, we talk a lot about like, you know, mental health, anxiety, things like that. And a lot of that stuff comes from fear and people being afraid of things. And like, just, you know, it's pretty much where all that stuff is derived from. So
Right.
I've never classified myself as that kind of person because I just don't fear a lot. Like I'm just not afraid of anything, but it might be something that she's seen in me that I haven't thought of. I guess, and it goes kind of deep, is like a wasted time is probably one of my biggest fears.
So she said she's going to say nothing. She goes, man, I'm going to say nothing. He's the most adventurous and optimistic person she knows. Maybe failure.
Yeah, and that kind of goes right
That's
in with
good.
what I was going
That
to
makes
say
sense,
is
yeah.
like wasted time is like you spend your 1 year, 2 year, 3 years not moving forward toward what your goal is. So yeah, I would say that, you know, that she's pretty much on par with that. I'd say she's right on the course.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. This is an easy one. Who's the first to fall asleep?
She is.
Howard.
Him. And he gets up at the butt crack of dawn.
Now, how could we be so off on this? How could you be so quick to say her and she's like, no, him?
Because she's thinking right now. So right now she's in a grad class and she's actually going back to school. She was a nurse. She was going back to school to become an author. And she wants to
Author?
write novels. Yes.
Ooh.
Erotic novels.
No.
Oh no, I'm not kidding.
We need to get her on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And well,
Really?
yeah, I mean,
Did
absolutely.
you inspire her?
There are some scenes that I've read that look incredibly familiar.
Where do you read them?
Well, she shows them to me and lets me read them.
Can we share one?
I don't have them with me.
He's not carrying around around.
But
I
you
don't carry
said-
on a book of journals.
But you said some were familiar, so
Well, they're familiar because they're things that I've literally done, and I'm like, hey, I literally said this to you last night. It's in your paper.
he washes the dishes.
No, I'm not talking
Oh,
about
no.
that kind of stuff.
Oh. I was just
That's
that was erotic to me.
It was-
I just pictured you washing dishes.
I mean, dishes are erotic.
I know.
Um,
Soapy water.
So
just because you say it like that doesn't mean it's erotic.
yeah, so like right now she's swamped. I mean, we have 2 kids, and she's up late every night doing homework because she's trying to juggle going to school and taking care of the kids, like on the days that I'm not, and going and working.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, she's always
First to sleep.
last.
Last?
Well, right, yeah. That's why she said that. That's
So
why
you're
she
the
said
first
that
one to
I'm
sleep.
first now because
Okay.
she's up all
Okay.
night working on those things.
Oh, we have 2 more.
All right, 2 more.
Yeah. What is something that will make him cry? Howard,
Hang on.
this is 3.
Something that will make me cry that
Are
she
you a
knows
crier?
about. No,
No.
typically not. Maybe dead dogs. A story about a dead dog.
That's not on here, but
Something that'll make me cry getting kicked in the balls. My
No,
kids.
that's-
Something happened to my kids.
So, this is what she wrote. She says, literally nothing. We've been together for 12 years, and I've never seen him cry other than 3 times. Your wedding day and the birth of your 2 children.
It's true.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's a funny story. On my wedding day, my best man, I don't recommend this to any grooms, but I knew I was going to cry. So I looked over to my best man, Brian, and I was like, hey, man, if I start welling up, I'm like, can you just, like, pinch the fuck out of the back of my tricep for me so I, like, get back? Because I don't want my pictures to be crying. So, I see her walk down the aisle, and I start tearing up, and I'm like, shit. Pinch me.
I feel that's the
He-
money shot,
he
though,
reached
don't you?
right back
I think
there.
it's cool. I think it's
Dude, he reached back there and he twisted and pulled and like I was like, good, got it. Like good. Now I'm pissed off. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. And then she gets up there and it's like I'm looking at her. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, do it again. And he keeps. I think he did it like 4 or 5 times that day. And when we go upstairs, I take off and I lift up my shirt and it's just the back of my arm is black. So yeah, I would say that was pretty a cryable moment. And then the 2 kids, like that's something that I didn't even expect to cry. It's just like when you see your kid, it's just so weird.
Did you cry more for your first or your second?
that's a terrible question.
No, because
I'm just
your
Which one do
first-
you love more?
No, like
The second
us
one, I was
now.
like, fuck, here we go again.
exactly.
Changing
So,
diapers all night.
But
I mean,
and because you have a daughter and you
they're
have a
different.
son, yeah,
They're different. I mean, I found it really hard as a man, and I'm sure there are men that can connect with it. I know there's some women that look at me and be like, you're a fucking asshole. But like, it was really hard for me when we had a kid to see them as your child, almost. Like, you see them almost as like, here's this fucking thing now that takes up all my time.
Like
I
Phil.
can't sleep. I can't do anything. Like, my wife's attention is all on the kid now. And it's selfish, but like, it's a reality.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a-
you're
it's a
a
truth.
second now.
Yeah.
It's a truth. Like,
Mhm.
so like, it's like fuck, like here we go. Like, here's all this like stuff that is coming with this kid. And it took me a while to like fully like feel like a dad. So the first one was completely different because that was a regular birth. And then there she is, and like it's the first time I've ever seen a kid. So of course, like it's super emotional, like realizing that like holy shit, like I'm a dad now. And like the first time she like grabs your finger, the first
Yeah.
time she calls you dad, like no one's ever called you that before.
Right.
And or like the nurse when she first calls you dad, and like you're like holy shit, like and then you do like the chest to chest thing that everybody tells you to do now, where you go skin to skin, so that way you get the same kind of like attachment. And my daughter is attached to my hip, and when Ashley watches it, she's like, yeah, absolutely, she's absolutely attached to my hip. For Channing.
Channing.
Yeah, he's named after Channing Tatum, and yes, I am proud to say that. And Channing Tatum, if you're watching this, I love you. But so for Channing, he was a birth that was a C-section, which was really scary. That was probably a bigger cry during the second one because it was just like a sigh of relief because your wife is like these are 2 people that are huge parts of your life now, and like something goes wrong, like it's really kind of a scary situation to be in. So when they say everybody's fine, it's like a cry of relief that like
I
everything's
want to
okay.
cry right now.
Yeah.
Something wrong with you.
It's overwhelming.
Well, listen,
It is.
Evan will help.
Evan.
It's true.
Evan
All right, we got one more.
Okay.
One more.
Easy one. Who's the better cook?
Oh, me by far.
Hmm.
I guarantee you she said something along the lines of him by far.
Hands down him.
Yeah.
If you don't know, and he already mentioned, he went to culinary school, so
Oh, that's true.
he's going to trump her for that reason.
Oh, yeah. Does Ashley cook anything? Oh, no. Uh-oh, another wrong question.
It's
It's
another
going
question
to get you in trouble.
Like, on the couch. I'm going to tell a really funny story.
Okay.
This is not contingent of what she does now. Like, she is a woman now. She is a mother now. Like, she can cook and she will cook.
She's a woman now?
She just doesn't like. I made her a woman, of course. She was just a girl when I met her.
Oh, shit.
But when we first started dating, I remember the first meal she made for me. And I remember it like so picture perfect. She wouldn't let me see what she was doing. And I was sitting at this little booth table that was in her mom's house. And she was over at the stove, and I was just watching her. And I'm like, man, it's really cool that I have this girl that's going to cook for me. Like, it's really nice. And she's over there, and I'm seeing her pull out these things that just don't seem to go together. I see her pull out the loaf of bread. And I'm like, okay, grilled cheeses. And then I see her pull out the butter. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to have a little grilled cheese. And then she pulls out the cinnamon. And I'm like,
French toast.
okay. And she pulls out the cheese.
What?
And then then she pulls out the sugar. And I'm like, okay. And then I don't really pay attention. She brings it over to me on a pizza pan. And it's a piece of bread, one of which has melted cheese on it. And the other one is cinnamon and sugar on another piece of bread. And the funny thing about these two pieces of bread is that they were never properly toasted. So you essentially buttered the bread, dropped the cheese on top, butter the bread, drop the cinnamon sugar on top, and then warm it in the oven. So it's soggy, warm bread with melted cheese and like this concoction of butter. And
What was it supposed to be? Would they have,
well,
like-
she had an explanation for this. She said, well, this piece of bread is like your pizza, and this piece of bread is like your Cinesticks. So you've got your lunch and you've got your dessert. And that was where really
It's
Where's the
creative.
sauce?
the sauce for the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
the cheese.
non-existent. It was butter. It was a butter pizza. It was a poor man's pizza, as we call it. It was college meals. We were in college.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, no, I'd say typically I take the lead on purpose. Not on purpose. I don't want it to make it sound like she's like a bad cook or anything. But like she can absolutely
Dude,
cook.
she
when
made
puts her
you-
mind to it.
Bread with cheese and a bread with cinnamon, and you're gonna say she's a bad cook?
She was 18
No
years old. Like,
disrespect.
hold on there. Like, she's 18 years old.
All right.
How was you trying to get you in trouble?
I inadvertently just take the lead because I'd just rather do it because I enjoy it and I just like it done a specific way.
Nice.
He's the man. He's the man of the house, Howard. He can do
See
whatever the hell
that.
he wants to do. While she's
and-
writing erotic novels.
Well, exactly, because that's what's going to bring us the money in eventually.
Erotic novels.
You think you'll do like a podcast on erotic novels, but do like a video one?
Erotic McDonald's.
Ronald McDonald's.
All right, Howie, before we get out of here, we got to tell people we're going on location.
Yes, we actually got a couple good guests coming up.
Okay.
So, Simply Events, one of our friends that we work with, we're going to be in Rocklet. We're going to talk to them. And we have Rad and Kel on the show.
Yeah, Brad
So-
and Keller, awesome.
Rad and Kel will be here. And I believe they're going to perform, aren't they?
They are. Definitely told Rad to bring his guitar. So they'll be coming up next, and then we'll be at Rock Lidditz
Coming up, yeah.
live.
We're looking for more guests. So, if you want to join the podcast, email us. What's the email, Phil?
cocktailhourpod@gmail.com. You can find it on Instagram page. And as always, my friends, we got to toast our way out of this.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Jeff. We love you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Howard. I love you more.
Love you more.
I love you, Wolf.
See you, Wolf.